Beautiful. One of the big changes we're making to the front of this house is adding a timber fence. I'm putting in the post, and you just want to make sure that when you're spacing them out, you do it evenly, but no further than 2.4 metres apart. Otherwise, the timbers in between can sag. Across the front of the posts, I'm going to be putting panels. Now, it's a good idea before you start cutting everything up to paint it first. That way, it saves a lot of cutting in around all the little corners. Our panels consist of a top rail, a bottom rail, and a heap of balustrades, which I've divided up equally so they work out at about 72mm apart. I've made up a template so I can transfer all my holes onto the rails. Then it's as easy as laying it out, putting in our balustrades and using a spacer as we go to make sure that everything's right. Then we can screw it off. Now, we've made 5 of these panels, and I'm not going to lie, it did take a little bit of patience. But the good news is the hard work's done. So now it's just a matter of placing the panels up against our posts. You all right, Tommy?
Yeah, mate.
I'm using 100mm treated pine screws and just fixing them off. This old letterbox is doing nothing to jazz up the front of this house, so it has to go. You just want to make sure you check for mail. You better keep that one. I am loving this old rooster, but it's just not working. The new letterbox is going down the driveway end. It's going to be built into the fence, so I'm cutting out one of the balustrades and fixing it in place.
Little lads has jumped ship, or he's probably jumped on a bus, and left me to do the most important part of any makeover, the planting in the garden. All the construction's done, but we need to pretty things up. The Agapanthus are doing their job. They'll look fantastic at Christmas, but they're a tad boring the rest of the year. So we're putting an avenue planting of ornamental pears. Now, this one's called snow pear. As far as trees go, it's a small tree. It'll get about 8 metres by 4 to 5 metres wide. And the reason why I like pears so much is because they're deciduous. They drop their leaves in winter, letting the beautiful sun in, helping the garden grow and warming the house. Then come spring and summer, a whole new flush of green growth that looks fresh, and you get plenty of shade in summer. It's a win-win. What more would you want? Now, this garden bed across the front of the house was a bit hard to work with. I could take out all this fountain grass and then I'd have a really low garden and it wouldn't look established, or I can work with it, which is what I'm going to do. And if you have a look in here, there's about half a dozen agaves that have been hidden. If you had to go and buy that big one there, it'd probably cost you close to $100. So I'm going to pull them out and haphazardly plant them through here. And that's how tough they are. I got no roots that were in the ground, a few aerial roots, planted into a tight hole so it'll stand up, give it a water, and it won't even go backwards. And I've got some hardy native grasses too, as well as some beautiful gardenias near the front door. Make the place smell nice. Ah, Mondo grass. I've made some money out of this in my time, doing exactly what I'm doing now. Taking it from a place where it goes okay, plunging it into a bucket of water. The reason why I do that is hopefully I might wash off any seeds that are in there that are going to potentially be weeds. Give it a good wash, and then put into another bucket, keeping it hydrated until I'm ready to plant it in another spot. And you can thin it out as much as you want and plant individuals, about 100mm apart, and they'll clump up in no time at all. But if you want an instant look, go for big clumps. Just because we want this place to look new doesn't mean we have to buy everything at the shop. Underneath this little carport is probably one of the hardest places you can think to garden. It's shady dry with a splash of hot afternoon sun. So you need really tough plants that are going to survive in the shade with a little bit of neglect, not getting the water, and then handle that sun setting in the afternoon. So we've got a couple of cordyline, a Dianella, which is a native grass. We took the Mondo out and we're bringing in some giant Mondo, but they're not actually related, they just look similar. And towards the front here, where we are getting a bit of sun in the afternoon, I've got the little rubies. The colour contrast between all the greens, the ones that are variegated with the white lines on them, and then that burgundy makes this little carport pretty interesting. Come on, mate. Come on. Good gear. How good does it look? What I like is that what Adam and I have done, anyone could do. Pick up a gurney, clean your paths. Straight away, the place looks good. Picking the colours and having a go at painting, it's just a confidence game. Maybe building the fence, lean on a mate who's a chippy. When I pulled up, this was a nondescript house. I would have driven past it. He even thought maybe you'd knock it down and rebuild a new one. But you look at it now, it looks like it's architecturally designed. The colours suit the house perfectly. And the garden, well, it's only going to get better. You want the good news, Dan? If we leave now, we'll still get home before Adam. Come on.